Risottos are one of my favorite things, and this is a really simple recipe. The key is some really nice risotto rice called arborio rice. I'm going to show you the technique. And it takes about 20-22 minutes thereabouts to cook a risotto from start to finish, and you can put lots of different ingredients into it, and I'm going to share that with you in a moment. Let's talk about one of the main ingredients that we're going to put in. Is this lovely unsmoked Irish bacon lardons, and they're from O'Neill's down in Wexford, so the same producer that we use in Macnina House. And they're just great people. Their sausages and their bacon is beautiful. And these are the lardons. So lardons are little kind of strips of bacon. So that's done into small little kind of strips. So it's recently launched, so I really wish them the very best of luck. It's going really, hopefully it'll do really well, and a lot lovely flavour to the risotto. So I'm going to use some olive oil and a little bit of butter. And we're going to start the process. So I have a risotto kind of started, okay, and I'm going to explain that in a moment. But when I use the oil and the oil will stop the butter from burning. So I have some beautiful vegetable stock here, and this is from Carol's. She's based in Derry, and she's going to be working with the Simply Better team. So we have lots of newness coming through in the collection, which I'm very excited about. Her products are so natural, so clean. She's wonderful. Okay, so let's look what happens. The butter will give the beautiful flavour, and the oil will stop the butter from burning. So just literally half a packet of the lardons are going to go in there. And of course you can do this without the bacon, but I think it adds so much flavour. One small onion, or half a large onion, that's going to go in there. And we're just going to let these just cook out now for a moment. So just give that a nice little stir. Okay, a couple of cloves of garlic. When I was over in Modena in Italy, I got to record with a chef, and the way he made risotto was very interesting. He infused this part of the Parmesan cheese. This is Simply Better Parmesan, but this part, okay, the rind, in some milk overnight, and then he made the risotto. He had no onion, no garlic, just vegetable stock, and then that milk which he infused the rind of the Parmesan. I'd never seen that before. So there's lots of kind of variations of risottos. Now I'm going to put the garlic in. You thought I forgot about it. So you know the garlic crusher. This has been a runaway success, part of the cookware collection. It's so easy to clean and use. Couple of cloves of garlic, just literally put pressure, and then all you're going to do is just with a spoon, you're going to scrape this off. It couldn't be easier. And that crushes it. So it does. So that's, and you can see the garlic in there. Like it is so simple. So easy and so effective. That's the most important thing. Okay, so let's just cook that for a moment. Now we're going to talk about our rice. So you need to be careful, because you can burn the garlic very quickly. So you just need to be careful of that. So just give that a nice little stir. Now you can crisp up the bacon, but what I've done is I've actually cooked some bacon separately here, and I'm going to sprinkle it over. So that's totally cooked through. So it is. I'm going to sprinkle that for a nice little bit of texture. Actually, I'll stir that into it, so you'll get a little bit of soft O'Neill's bacon in it, and you'll get that lovely crunchy bacon. So this is the arborio rice. Now I'm going to show you the pack. That's it there. I just got that in my local Dunn's, and it's classed like a creamy rice, particularly used for risottos, but I've used it in rice pudding. If you saw a video that I done recently with the Irish Jersey milk, the organic one, part of the Simply Better collection, that's the rice I used. So I use it for sweet and savoury. So if you look what I'm doing, I'm kind of coating the rice with the butter and getting that lovely flavour from the garlic and the onion in there, and then also the bacon. Now you can deglaze, and what deglaze means is pouring in a little bit of wine if you want to. I'm not. I'm going to use some of lovely Carol stock, which we've just warmed through. So I put a full pouch in here, and I'm going to move this over to this ring here. And this is a little tip for you now. This is what the stock looks like. That's the vegetable stock. You can use our chicken stock if you want to, and if you warm it up like this, it's going to definitely cook quicker. Now it's going to be a little bit noisy when I pour this on here, so just be careful. I'm using my nice wide skillet pan. So when you're making a risotto, everyone, the key is not to put all the stock in at once. You put it in gradually. They say a risotto boiled is a risotto spoiled. So that's what they say. And I love risottos. I love it using some wild mushrooms. I love adding maybe some cooked chicken into it, even some prawns. This is just a very basic recipe, but we're using that beautiful Irish O'Neill's bacon lardons, and then I'm going to finish it with some peas. So it's a really lovely one for kids too. There's no strong flavours. So I'm going to let that just cook out there, but I want to show you the one that I have already. Oh, and I'll just switch this ring off here. So this is one that I've done here, and I just sat it on the trivet. So people often ask me, what does the trivet do? What's the purpose of the trivet in your cookware collection? Well, I think it's a clever little piece. If you put anything hot onto wood or any kind of surface, it can kind of damage it. So that just protects it. It's a silicone one. It's part of the cookware. And what I love about it, it doesn't take up much room in your kitchen. It's great. So anything coming hot out of the oven, you can just use that. It's a great little gadget, so it is. Okay. Now, let's move on here. So, Imelda, we have just started more or less, it's near kind of 3/4 finished. So it's absorbed. Now I'm going to add more stock into it, and we're going to finish the process. You want the risotto cooked al dente, which means that it's firm to the bite. It doesn't mean that it's raw. And actually, when I was over in Italy, I was surprised how al dente the risotto is. I know when we make it in the restaurant, if I served it as al dente as the chef did, I think people would say, that's not cooked through, but you don't want it mushy and soft, and that's really important. So I'm going to put in some more stock here. We're going to put in the peas. I'm going to stir this through here now. So you're just mixing this all through. So a nice big wide pan. So just remember from this, so the rice is still raw here, you got to keep adding the stock every so often. So that's why it does take over probably 20 minutes to make this. So I said that I'd have this one more or less done. Okay, we're going to add in a little bit more into this, and then we'll just add in some frozen peas. You can use sweet corn. The twins love peas, love bacon, and I think this is a great one for kids. So the peas are frozen, so they're going to defrost in there. And we'll just stir this through, and this will give lovely colour and lovely flavour. And I think that's the key. You'll get that lovely flavour from the bacon, the peas, but we're going to bring it up another level. We're going to put in some lovely Parmesan cheese, and then we're going to also finish it, have it nice and creamy with the mascarpone cheese. So I'm going to add in the stock. So that's the key into doing it. So from this to this, and just keep adding in your stock. I'll finish this one after I do this video here, and we can enjoy it for our lunch. Okay, now just let that cook away there. And maybe I'll move it over here, Imelda, where it's easier for you just to zoom in. Just play musical chairs. Now, perfect, that's better. Okay, so what I'm doing, everyone, I'm going to start to finish this off. We've added in the peas, so they need to be defrosted. Obviously, it's a lower ring that I'm using here. We're going to use this lovely Simply Better Parmesan cheese. Big fan of Parmesan cheese. And then some of this really nice creamy Italian mascarpone cheese. Mascarpone cheese is used in tiramisu. Tiramisu, what it means is a lovely dessert. It means pick me up, one of my favorite desserts. And I love this. So just a spoonful of this. Literally, that's all you need in this. It's not essential, but I think it gives a lovely creaminess, taste and feel to the risotto. Sorry, that's what the raw rice looks like. So it's lovely. It's the arborio rice that I'm using, and that is the key to making the risotto. That's so important. Okay, we're just going to use my microplane. We're going to start to grate. I'll turn this down, and then we'll stir this through. So I'm just going to grate in some of the Parmesan cheese in here. So the whole idea behind using a microplane like this, okay, and this is in the cookware collection, is that it sits on the pot. You don't have to hold it over like that. So that takes the pressure on your wrist. These are all little tips for you. Now, so just grate that there. I love Parmesan cheese, and even in a cream sauce, it's so delicious, absolutely beautiful. So this is our Simply Better Parmesan, and I saw the whole process of Parmesan cheese being made, and I have to say, it blew me away, to be honest with you. The Italians are wonderful at protecting what they have when it comes to ingredients. They really are. And it's the most cooked cuisine. And people think like risottos, they're difficult to make. They're actually not. They're actually very, very easy to make, and they're even easier to eat. They're what I call a one-pot dish. You don't even have to dirty the saucepan by heating the stock. You can put the stock in cold, but if you do that, it'll just take a little bit longer, probably 25 minutes to cook out. So let's stir this through here. Now you can see the mascarpone cheese is going to cream this up. So I'm going to put in some salt into this, and I want a lovely kind of loose, soft consistency. That's exactly what I want from the risotto. Okay, so a couple of pinches of the sea salt, a little bit of black pepper, and then I'm going to put a little piece of butter into this. So another cube of butter. So I used the cube when we started off cooking the bacon and the onion and also the garlic. So just stir this through here. Now what I like to do, and I did say it to you, is just crisp up a little bit of the bacon lardons, and sprinkle them in now. And that's going to give you lovely texture. So you're going to get the soft bit of bacon, you're going to get a little bit of texture. You could, if you wanted to, at the start, crisp up the bacon, and then you could take some out if you wanted to. So you can see the difference in the colour there. And then a little bit of fresh basil, and that's it, guys. That's our risotto. From start to finish, you'll have this done in about 20-25 minutes max. A little bit of fresh basil. Just going to get a knife here, and then we're going to serve this up. So we are. So I'll just get my knife. We're going to cut this really, really thin. And that's it. It couldn't be easier. It's just a lovely kind of a really, really nice, even some of this risotto that I'm doing with some grilled chicken, but on a meal of its own as a starter or a main course, it's beautiful. So when you're chopping the basil, always put it in, because if I leave it on the board, because I've chopped it, you're going to bruise it and it's going to go a little bit black. Now, and most important thing, taste the risotto. So if you think it's a little bit too hard or too firm, what I would do is cook it a little bit longer. So you must have it, just before I taste it, I just want to show you the consistency one more time here. So you just let that fall, that loose consistency. Can you see that? And the peas go in towards the end, not at the start. They don't take long to cook out. Okay. I love that. That's so tasty. I'm looking forward to lunch. Okay, we're going to serve it up. So I'm just going to get my spoon, and we're going to just bring over. So that lovely kind of soft, loose consistency. Look at that. So that's our beautiful Simply Better, the bacon lardons from O'Neill's. They're based in Wexford. And then we have our peas and the mascarpone cheese and that lovely stock. So, I mean, like, risottos are filling, I think so. If you want to, this is a little tip, it's only an optional, you could put a little drizzle of balsamic vinegar. If you wanted to, I love balsamic vinegar over risotto, because sometimes I think it cuts through the richness. A little bit more Parmesan cheese over that. If I didn't put all this, the cooked bacon in the crispy one, you could have sprinkled that on top, but it's not essential. And then just a couple of little sprigs of fresh basil. And that's it. It's so simple. Don't be nervous about doing this. Try it, guys. The key to it is that really nice rice, that delicious bacon from O'Neill's. And then just don't let it boil. Do it nice and slowly. And that is my bacon and pea risotto. Yeah, it's really good. I love the freshness of the basil too. So yeah, enjoy this, and happy cooking. Thanks a million.